Good evening. We're going to begin here tonight with a disturbing story out of a Chicago suburb. It has to do with a cemetery, not just any cemetery, and the violation of the final wishes of a lot of families concerning their loved ones. Investigators say as many as 300 bodies might have been tampered with and moved in order to resell those same grave sites in the historically black Burr Oak Cemetery, the final resting place for some iconic figures in music and the civil rights struggle. It would make it a bit better to think this was an isolated case, but there's been evidence through the years that sadly it's not. And now, what can anyone say to these families affected? Our own Kevin Tibbles is at the scene to start us off here tonight. Kevin, good evening.
Brian, the Cook County Sheriff confirms this evening that up to 300 graves have been disturbed here in what is being described as a macabre act of reselling cemetery plots. A pile of bones from more than 100 bodies discovered above ground in an older and overgrown section of the Burr Oak Cemetery outside Chicago.
This was not replacing graves, it was not moving graves, this was dumping them.
But Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart says as many as 300 graves may have been desecrated here all over the past 4 years for profit, so that grave sites could be double sold.
This was not done in a very, very delicate way, folks.
The cemetery is in Alsip, some 25 miles southwest of the city, and is where many iconic figures from Chicago's African-American community are buried, including civil rights symbol Emmett Till, whose grave has not been disturbed. Blues legend Dinah Washington is also buried here, as is bluesman Willie Dixon. Police have charged 4 employees of the cemetery with dismembering a human body, alleging grave sites either had the bodies removed so the plots could be resold, or the original graves were pounded down to make room for other caskets.
There should be really a special place in hell for these graveyard thieves who've done so much hurt these families.
Today, hundreds of family members converged on the cemetery, desperately trying to locate the grave sites of their loved ones. Difficult for many because at the time of burial, they could not afford a headstone.
My father's grave was wild. Wasn't in there but a big old hole.
When I looked at my brother's grave and my grandfather's, it's actually been disturbed. It's been dug up. They've laid fresh soil and grass seeds tried to replace what they've dug up.
The cemetery is owned by Perpetua, an Arizona-based company which police say is cooperating with the investigation. A team of FBI forensics experts with experience examining mass graves in Serbia is also being brought in to assist in identification. And Brian, the investigators tonight say the conspirators may have made as much as $300,000 rather, reselling these plots. And as the sheriff said earlier this afternoon, leaving families here having to grieve their lost ones all over again.
Brian Tibbles, what a disturbing story out of the Chicago area to start us off tonight. Kevin, thanks.